Chapter 14, for the most part, talks about power. When it defines power, it defines it as power refers to a capacity that A has to influence the behavior of B so that B acts in accordance with A's wishes. Okay? But in order to have power, you need to have power over someone. Okay? Or else you don't have power. So the opposite of power is dependency. And the greater B's dependence upon A, the greater power A has. So if you really, really need me, I have a great deal of power over you. So my 3-year-old, which depends on me to survive, I have a great deal of power over her. But my wife, whom could survive just fine without me, I have much less power over her, and her over me in return. So my 3-year-old, back to that, I don't depend on her at all. So as far as power goes, she has no power classically defined over me. I mean, certainly she has influence, but not power in the classical sense. Okay. Leaders use power as a means of attaining group goals. Maybe they use it for good group goals. Maybe they use it for group goals that are less than admirable. Are they, philanthropists, say like Bill Gates, using it to many people and many resources towards curing malaria, or are they Hitler trying to do some awful things with it? Either way, they're using it as a means of attaining goals that the whole group can aspire to. That would be more than what any one individual could. Power does not require compatibility, merely dependence. That means we don't have to be able to get along. We don't have to like each other. It just depends. You need to be dependent on me for me to have power over you. Leadership, on the other hand, does require some congruence between the goals of the leader and those being led. So while power does not require that we all are on the same page or same team or that we even agree, leadership does. So that's kind of the separation point. Okay? The book lists 5 main sources of power. The first is coercive power. That's the power based on fear. That you're scared that I can take something away from you that you desperately need to survive. Okay. Second is reward power. That's the power of an incentive. The power to give you something you don't have that you'd like, whether that's something tangible like money or food, or something like esteem that you want to have that's less touchy, or that's less physical. Right? There's also what's called legitimate power. That's the power of a formal position. That's the power that I have, essentially as a class assigned the instructor. Legitimate, they don't mean it's as in I should have it. It just means that it's built within the structure of what it's doing. So, in a class, the teacher has legitimate power. In a company, the president has, or the mayor has the legitimate power. Assumes that they've reached that through legitimate means, either being voted in or being appointed by the people who had the right to appoint. Okay? Expert power. This is power based on expertise. This is, if I have it, I know how to do something. You all don't, and therefore you must obey me. Not to personalize it, but the power that one person has because they just know something or have the ability to do something that someone else doesn't. Okay? And finally, referent power. This is the power based on the fact that people like you. This is the power that the democracies give to their leaders, where as long as we all think you're the great guy or great gal, and we want to follow you, we do. Okay, and so that charisma, that power of persuasion, that's a referent power. When studied, expert power and referent power tend to be the most effective. They're the ones people follow most willingly and that can sustain themselves the longest. Why are people dependent? Where does dependency develop from? Number one is importance. That this would be like something like, I'm the father of my 3-year-old. She just couldn't do it herself. I'm important to her survival. Okay? Scarcity is the next one. That dependence, I have something. You see a lot of, dystopian movies come out of that where only, the government has the food, or only the government has the weapons, or they have something that the people don't have, and therefore the people have to listen, or maybe they're the only ones that control the water or whatever. Okay, and the final thing that causes dependency is non-sustainability. That they non-substitutability. Similar to scarcity, but again that they have something which can't be substituted. Someone else can't come in and make something. Water would be again a great example. If we don't have water, then there's nothing else we can substitute for it. The person who controls all the almonds doesn't have any power because there are plenty of other foods, heck, plenty of other nuts. But oxygen, water, things that we can't substitute. That can, if one has it, the other doesn't. That's a cause of dependency. Okay. The book then gets into the tactics people use with their power. Legitimacy. Okay, that is the authority of one's position. I have power because I have been elected or been appointed by the right person. Okay. Rational persuasion. This is a power tactic. This is a way of influencing where I present a logical argument. You listen to it, you think, oh, he's right, and therefore you do as I suggest. Oh, you're hungry. There's an apple tree over there. Go pick an apple. Okay. Oh, I am hungry. Oh, there is an apple tree over there. Oh, I can solve my hunger that way. Okay. I talked you into it, but not through my charisma, but through my fact that I'm just right. Consultation. This is developing motivation by including the other person. This is what the kind of power where we talk about it, we come up with it, you feel included in the decision, so therefore you want to follow what I've suggested because you feel like you had a voice in it, you feel like you had a role in it too. Okay? Similar to personal appeals, which we'll get to, but it places you as part of the reason why you follow. Inspirational appeals. This is developing it through an emotional commitment where, I'm seen in a role by you maybe as a father figure or whatever. Sorry about that. All sorts of kid issues in the middle of this one. Okay. Anyway, inspirational appeals. This is your coach up in front of the team, getting them all riled up and wanting to go out and succeed. This is the parent who says, if you truly love me, you'll do whatever, or, you'll listen to me on this. I am, as the leader, trying to get to your emotions and inspire you to do as I want. Okay. Exchange. This is your typical employment environment. You're rewarding the target with benefits or favors. I'm going to pay you to do this. You're going to listen to me. I have power because I have money, or I have some sort of something that you want, food, steam, that you'll get if I decide to give it to you. And the only way you can get it is by following what I ask you to do. Okay, personal appeals. This is me leaning on my relationships, asking for help based off of friendship, whereas your inspirational appeal was really trying to do it emotionally. The personal appeal is still trying to get that emotion, but instead of inspiring the person to do it, instead of making the person want to do it because of that relationship, you're really leveraging, will you please, just for me, do it? I'm not offering any other logic. I'm not offering any other reason. I'm just because I am who I am, I want you to do such and such. Okay? Integration. These are appeals based off of flattery, praise, or friendly behavior. I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Ingratiation. Sorry about that. This is, where you're acting obsequious. This is, oh, you're the smartest person. You're the only person who can do it. Please do it. Obi-Wan, you're our only hope. Anyway, that kind of stuff. Where, gosh, I'll be your best friend, or you've got muscles, you can do it. I mean, you're really buttering the other person up. You're really trying to make the other person feel big and strong and powerful, and therefore that's why they're going to do it. Okay? Pressure, that's where if you don't do it, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to steal from you, I'm going to take something from you. If you don't do it, bad things are going to happen to you. The final one is coalition. That's where, it's not just me, but I bring 2 or 3 other people to talk you into it. That, you see that there's many, many people who want you to do whatever it is that we're trying to get you to do, and therefore you feel certain peer pressure to do it, and you see that it's probably likely to be successful because we have numbers. Okay? Coalitions often seek to maximize time. So I'm going to try that again. Seek to maximize size, and they tend to be large enough to exert power. It is more likely when there's a great deal of task interdependence, which means that in order for the only way for me to be successful is you're successful and vice versa. Say like a factory or something where we all have to do our jobs in order to work. That's where coalitions tend to develop. And they're even more likely to develop when everybody's doing the same thing. So going back to the factory, it's assembly line or some sort of common activity where we know about each other, we know the issues that we have, and we're well aware of the pressures and rewards. That's where coalitions are the most likely to develop. Okay, the chapter then shifts into a totally different gear and goes into sexual harassment. It defines sexual harassment as the unwanted activity of a sexual nature that affects an individual's employment and creates a hostile work environment. Words I've often seen in here, but not in their definition, is repeated. It's usually one mistake is not considered to be sexual harassment, but a mistake that's made over and over again is. Okay? You don't do it, and if you want your organization to be successful, have policies in place to combat it. You need to be ready for it. People are people, they make mistakes, they get arrogant, they do things they shouldn't. Have policies in place. That's how you keep your organization safe. Okay? It looks like we're going to go a little long, so I am going to stop here and then finish it up on the next video.